Don't you know the Metcalf twins? Let me tell you something, y'all. Woo, they some big old bullies. They went around provoking people, provoking kids, y'all. Yes, I got the proof right here in this video. You know I will never lead you wrong. And I just got to say, I want to say thank y'all for liking this video, sharing this video, and subscribing to this YouTube channel, honey. I couldn't do it without y'all. All right, so let's react. That's what we're here to do. We got Honey. He's going to come and tell us about these cheerleaders and how the Metcalf twins, they always going around provoking people, bullying people. That's not God's way. You know, the parents say they're a Christian, but I don't see the Christ in them. And ain't they divorced? What Christians are out here getting divorced? And then they're talking about taking out of people and being so nasty and racist. It seems like the father, he's so Christian, but he's out here provoking to anger. That's not Christian. Like, what would Jesus do? Jesus wouldn't do that. And, you know, just like, you know, they don't teach their kids about Christian because, you know, Jesus wouldn't provoke that Carmelo Anthony. Jesus wouldn't be like, you know, get out the tent knowing it's raining. Jesus wouldn't do that, you know. So, and pushing on another person, you're provoking people to anger. You know, that's an sin. That's wickedness. But, you know, everybody wear these labels, honey, but they don't own up to them. They don't do what they're supposed to do. They're not obedient. Well, anyway, enough of me ranting. Let's like, share, and subscribe and hear what people got to say about these Metcalf twins. Check it out.
Secret Service Sam here with a Carmelo Anthony Austin Metcalf update. Here is an email I have obtained. I believe it to be real. Just listen to this. One of the cheerleaders complaining about the twins. Coaches, the other cheerleaders and I have tried to make an effort to stay supportive and spirited throughout the football season. However, the disrespect we feel coming from some of the football players is making it very difficult. Today, after our game against Liberty, some of us cheerleaders in uniform went to Canes. While talking amongst ourselves about the loss, Hunter Metcalf stood up and yelled that my friend and fellow varsity cheerleader is a fat bitch. I don't understand what triggers his rages, but to yell this unprovoked made us all really upset and was incredibly embarrassing for my friend, as everyone is in Canes looked at her and started laughing. We see the Metcalfs act out time and time again, but we trust that there is no repercussions or some sort of consequence, so we stay out of it. But for it now to be directed towards one of the people that shows up to every game to support and cheer them on is astounding to me. After they left Canes, one of the other football players told us that Hunter said his hands were bisexual, implying that he would not only hit guys, but also girls. She is not embarrassed, but genuinely scared, especially after seeing the way he can act on the field. I'm only coming to you because I feel that you should be aware that he is acting like this in public spaces, which is not good for our school's representation and is discouraging us from keeping the cheerleading them on. I'm sorry for even having to come to you about this, but after tonight, it truly feels like it's getting out of hand. I recognize that he may be upset that we lost, but there is no justification for the way he treated my friend tonight. I would also appreciate for my name to stay confidential, as I fear what they would do if they knew. Why did Mike Howard not enter this in Carmelo Anthony's defense? There's so much that has been left out of this trial that we will keep it awake, and I will always expose their secrets for the community. Secret Service Sam Out Sampson for president of the world.
Cactus skin, pickle head, muscle neck, knuckle booted, llama looking bitches that said that this is not about race. Did y'all know that Austin Dad went on a 3-hour rant on live? But let me play some of the stuff that he said so y'all can understand the history and the background of these boys and how racist they are, and they were taught to be racist, and to show y'all that they were really bullies. Hold on.
You don't even know who your fucking daddy is, because 78% of you don't have your father in the home anymore. You got baby mamas running around with 8 kids so they can get EBT cards to feed you all. You think I'm being racist? No, I'm being real.
No, bitch.
Oh, you've got more melanin than me. Ooh, so you get more privileges? More entitlement?
Look at you turning red right now.
Because 400 years ago, someone actually sold you to us, and we took you over here and put you to work. And then we had a civil war to free your ass.
The fact that you still think that we living in 400 years ago, bitch. Ain't nobody buying nobody over here, motherfucker. And then I don't understand why y'all not as angry as Eddie. Like, for Eddie being the one that he called Carmelo over to the tent to talk to him because they were friends. The same person that said they don't know each other, they was not friends like that. But then they end up pulling up all the pictures of him and Carmelo hanging out all at these different Christmas parties and all everywhere, just to turn around and say Carmelo was the aggressor, all because people like him probably threatened him to tell them that, hey, you better say that he was not at fault. You better say Austin wasn't at fault. All in all, what makes you think in this world that you did anything for us to be free, bitch? Actually, Rosa Parks was the first person that sat on the bus and said she's not getting up and letting nobody tell her what the fuck to do. She actually started this whole movement. That's why Carmelo said he ain't moving nowhere. He listened to Rosa Parks back there in the background. You know what I'm saying? Also, your raggedy ass son walked up 5 fucking bleachers to somebody that was sitting down, minding his own business, talking to another kid that also pretended to record the whole entire thing, and all of a sudden this video is no longer there. But all in all, why didn't y'all subpoena none of those kids that was up under that tent? Why y'all didn't subpoena their phone records? Let's see the text messages. Let's see the videos. Let's see everything that they talked about from that day up until now. Let's see it. Actually, let's see it. Where is the interview from your son that said that your son Austin put his hands, grabbed Carmelo's backpack at first, and all that? And then y'all said that they told him 15 times to get up. Bitch, who in the right mind telling somebody 15 times to do anything? That showed us that you was trying to abuse your authority. You was trying to bully the situation, and you thought you were bigger than the program and ended up on a program. And all in all, we are standing and fighting for Carmelo because not only that, we are not going to let history repeat itself. We already know the power that you hold, being that you are friends with the judge, the DA, and the defense team. Also, the jail that y'all sent him to, your cousin is also the warden there. You have everything already tied up in your bullshit. All in all, this was a racist situation, and it happened to be self-defense, regardless of how y'all trying to look at it, because you had no business coming from where the fuck you were to come over to where he was, that it was sitting down minding his business.
I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I do feel like I just want to have a conversation about it, and feel free to come in the comments, but don't come crazy. Carmelo Anthony is in jail. He was sentenced to 35 years. I guess with good behavior, he's eligible for parole at the halfway mark, which will make it like 17 and a half years. Carmelo Anthony could have gotten less time had he taken a plea deal. Everybody knows this is Criminal Justice 101. Everybody's offered a plea deal at the arraignment. They decided not to take that. But let's backtrack. Let's go all the way back. We talk about race too often when race is not the concern. If the situation was a little bit different and it was a white kid who killed a black kid, OMG, all hell would break loose. But now it's all about self-defense. Well, no, again, Criminal Justice 101 tells you that was not self-defense. And yes, it was premeditated according to the law. Everybody in the black community, y'all too emotionally involved and you miss the facts. But I'm going to give it to you a little bit further back. Let me just say this. In the black community, we are failing our children because you know what? We stopped with the structure in the home. It doesn't matter if you live in $1 million house and you live in the best neighborhood. What's happening in that house? These kids are going in that room, closing their doors, and they're listening to this music. And I'm going to tell you something. As an educator, this music today is the worst thing for your children. The worst, okay? All hip-hop culture does is exemplify being a baby mama, being a baby daddy, killing, shooting, smoking, doing drugs. They don't even... Listen, stop it. Put a stop to it. Start taking them back to church. That's where the real structure was. I don't care what your religion is. Take them to a house of worship, okay? Because here's the thing. Church taught you mentorship. It taught you conflict resolution. It taught you patience. You had to sit through that sermon. It didn't matter. If you had ants in your pants, you learned how to control yourself. So now we're walking around talking about this one got ADHD. This one has oppositional defiance. There was no such thing when we were growing up with all of this stuff. And so what happens is we begin to make all of these excuses, and here we are. There will be more Carmelo Anthonys if we don't take a hold of what's going on. Because it ain't about race. It ain't about black and white. It's about structure and discipline. Okay, children need to learn conflict resolution. Okay, so he got pushed. All of the young people are talking about, oh, he have a right to defend himself. That does not equate stabbing someone. It doesn't equate. And that's the thing. We still have a whole lot of rhetoric going around, which is in turn, our young people are listening to this. I'm talking about the little kids, the 10-year-olds, the 11-year-olds. They'll listen to this and they'll think that he was right in what he did based on what happened. We got to teach our children better. And I don't care if you say, oh, I'm a Uncle Tom or I'm a this, I'm a that. Yo, I'm black and I'm proud. Ain't no question about it, okay? I can give it to you any way you want it. But what I will say is, I'm not going to sit here and excuse behavior. There's no excuse for that. He stabbed someone and he took someone's life. And that boy is never going to see life. But this boy is going to go to jail. Hopefully he'll come home, and I don't know what the story's going to look like at the end for him. But what I do know is Metcalf, his whole life is over. His twin brother will never enjoy brother experiences with his other half. And that is what we need to focus on. We need to talk to our young people, boys and girls, hip hop culture, have a bunch of babies, smoke your weed, do your this, do your that, and then you have consequences for your actions. But the music doesn't reflect the consequences. It glorifies this lifestyle. And if you look at Carmelo Anthony's social media, he was toting guns. So it's not about where he lived. We need to study how much of an influence does this music and this culture have on our young people. That's part of the conversation that's missing.